This video takes us on a journey through the sacred scriptures, exploring eternal lessons, from the saga of Enoch to the Nephilim and the flood. So, prepare yourself as we delve into secrets and prophecies with contemporary analysis from start to finish. Stay with us and discover the divine mystery that awaits you. In the forgotten pages of time, before the civilizations we record and the empires we study, lie mysteries that the veil of modern history can barely cover. These narratives, profound and imbued with meaning, traverse the abyss of forgetfulness to touch our reality, suggesting a past where the divine and human were not separate entities, but interwoven in a tapestry of cosmic events. The saga of Noah's days, particularly the story of the Nephilim and the role of the prophet Enoch, emerges as one of the most enigmatic and revealing chapters of this distant past. This ancient account, rooted in sacred scriptures and apocryphal texts, is not merely a story of flood and destruction, but a window into an era where the earth was the stage for an unprecedented interaction between the realm of heaven and its inhabitants. Unraveling these mysteries invites us to question the very nature of reality, morality, and divine existence on our planet. At the intersection of myth and reality, the book of Genesis introduces us to the Nephilim, beings that embody the result of a forbidden union that defied the laws of the divine and the terrestrial. The sacred text in Genesis 6:1-4 tells us, "It came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. There were giants on the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown." This passage not only highlights the existence of the Nephilim, but also points to a reality where celestial entities directly interacted with the human world, a reality that transcends our contemporary understanding of the separation between the sacred and the profane. The sons of God, often interpreted as angels or divine beings, chose to unite with the daughters of men, triggering a chain of events that would culminate in the divine decision to purify the earth through the flood. The Nephilim, described as giants or mighty men of renown, symbolize the physical and spiritual fusion of celestial and terrestrial lineages, representing both the magnificence and the danger inherent in such a union. These beings, endowed with extraordinary strength and wisdom, left an indelible mark on ancient imagination, inspiring generations with stories of their deeds and tragedies. The emergence of the Nephilim and the subsequent corruption of humanity and the earth reflect a recurring theme in spiritual traditions: the tension between the aspiration to divinity and the limitations of the human condition. This antediluvian period, marked by the presence of these extraordinary beings, serves as a grim reminder of the consequences of transgressing the limits imposed by the divine. Within the vast panorama of sacred scriptures, the figure of Enoch stands out with a uniqueness that transcends the ages. It is not just his longevity, or the fact that he was taken to the heavens without experiencing death that makes him notable. It is his role as an intermediary between the divine and the terrestrial, a messenger chosen to reveal hidden truths and heavenly visions. Enoch occupies a unique place in spiritual tradition, serving as a bridge between the world of men and the realm of the heavens. Enoch, as narrated in the book of Genesis, is the seventh patriarch after Adam, living 365 years before being taken by God, an event that symbolizes his purity and closeness to the divine. The Bible, in Genesis 5:24, succinctly states, "Enoch walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him." This phrase, though brief, is laden with meaning, suggesting an intimate and continual communion with the Creator that is rare and extraordinary. Enoch's role as a prophet is expanded in the apocryphal texts, especially in the books of Enoch, which, although not recognized by all Christian traditions as canonical, offer profound insights into ancient cosmology, angelology, and eschatology. These texts detail Enoch's journeys through the heavens, his conversations with angels, and the revelations granted to him about the workings of the universe, the final judgment, and the fate of souls. In the books of Enoch, we are led on a spiritual journey where the veil between the physical and the metaphysical is lifted. Enoch is chosen to witness the deepest secrets of creation, the celestial order, the laws governing celestial bodies, and the role of angels in maintaining cosmic harmony. His visions include the judgment of the fallen angels, the revelation of the tree of life, and the foretelling of a Messiah who would bring redemption to humanity. Through Enoch, we are reminded of the eternal human quest for understanding and connection with the divine. His experiences, though extraordinary, reflect the innate desire to transcend earthly limits and touch the sacred. Enoch, as a celestial intermediary, not only brings messages from God to humanity, but also represents the possibility of spiritual ascension and direct communion with the Creator. The story of Enoch resonates through the centuries, influencing esoteric, mystical, and religious traditions. His figure is seen as an exemplar of righteousness and faith, a model of spiritual quest that transcends death and reaches into eternity. Enoch teaches us that, even in the presence of the inexplicable and the divine, humanity can find purpose, guidance, and ultimately salvation. At the heart of biblical tradition, the flood episode emerges as a divine response to the rampant corruption that plagued the earth, an era marked by the presence of the Nephilim and the consequent moral degradation of humanity. This cataclysmic event, detailed in Genesis 6:17, represents not only God's wrath against iniquity, but also his irrevocable decision to purify creation through a universal deluge. God, observing the earth, saw that it was corrupt, for all humanity had corrupted their ways. Before this sight, he uttered a declaration that would seal the fate of all terrestrial life. "Behold, I, even I, am bringing the flood of waters upon the earth to destroy all flesh, wherein is the breath of life from under heaven. Everything that is on the earth shall perish." The magnitude of this divine judgment is captured not just in God's words, but also in the selection of Noah, a righteous man in the eyes of the Lord, to build an ark that would preserve innocent life. Noah, obeying divine instructions, becomes the agent of a new covenant between God and creation, a symbol of hope and renewal. The flood transcends the narrative of mere punishment. It is a manifestation of divine justice, aimed at eradicating evil at its root and establishing a new paradigm for human existence. Through the purifying waters of the flood, God not only destroys corruption, but also prepares the ground for a new beginning, for an era where the covenant between the Creator and his creatures would be reaffirmed. In the unfolding of this event, we find echoes in other ancient traditions, stories of a great deluge sent by the gods as a response to human transgression, suggesting a universal truth about the struggle between the divine and the mundane, between purity and corruption. The story of the flood, therefore, is not just a tale of destruction, but also a narrative of redemption and divine mercy. It reminds us of God's sovereignty over creation and his unwavering will to preserve life in the face of corruption. At the same time, it serves as a solemn reminder that divine justice can intervene in profound and transformative ways, laying the foundations for a new order where harmony between the Creator and creation can be restored. Thus, the flood remains one of the most powerful symbols of faith, a story that speaks not only of wrath and judgment, but also of hope and the promise of a renewed world where goodness and justice prevail. It invites us to reflect on our own relationship with the divine and with the world around us, encouraging us to seek a path of righteousness amidst the complexity of human existence. The narratives involving Enoch, the Nephilim, and the flood go beyond mere ancient tales. They serve as bridges between eras, offering profound insights into the eternal dilemmas of the human condition. In these stories, we find reflections on the divine and the mundane, the ethereal and the terrestrial, and the intrinsic consequences of human choices. The interaction between celestial beings and humanity, the resulting fall from corruption, and the subsequent purification through the flood, are not merely isolated episodes from antiquity, but powerful metaphors for contemporary struggles against moral and spiritual decay. Revisiting the life of Enoch, a man who walked with God and was taken to heaven, avoiding death, invites us to consider the possibility of an existence aligned with elevated spiritual values, even in a world permeated by corruption. Enoch, as an intermediary between heaven and earth, inspires us to seek deeper communication with the divine and to aspire for a broader understanding of the cosmos and our place within it. The story of the Nephilim, in turn, warns us of the dangers of pride and transgressions against natural and divine laws. They represent a past where the boundaries between the human and the divine were crossed, resulting in catastrophic consequences. This narrative serves as a reminder of the importance of respecting the limits set by the natural order and of constant vigilance against tendencies towards corruption. The flood, interpreted as divine purification, resonates to the present day, symbolizing the idea that, despite the prevalence of evil, there is always room for renewal and hope. This story teaches us about divine justice and mercy, about the necessary destruction for the creation of a new beginning, where life can flourish under new precepts. Thus, these ancient narratives challenge us to look within ourselves, to recognize the patterns of behavior that lead to corruption and decay, and to seek an existence that is in harmony with divine principles. They invite us to meditate on our responsibility not just towards our personal development, but also towards the legacy we leave for future generations. In an era marked by unprecedented global challenges, environmental crises, social conflicts, and complex ethical dilemmas, the stories of Enoch, the Nephilim, and the flood offer a moral compass pointing towards the need for deep reflection on our actions and their repercussions on the fabric of life. Therefore, these narratives are not just relics of the past, but living tools of wisdom, capable of illuminating the paths of humanity in its ceaseless quest for meaning, justice, and a sustainable future. They call us to a journey of self-knowledge and transformation, where the past and present intertwine in the construction of a more enlightened tomorrow. Subscribe and illuminate our path with your like. Activate the bell to be the first to unravel these ancient mysteries with us, and share your insights. Every comment of yours is a step forward on our journey. Remember, at every corner of the unknown, a new secret awaits you.